When was the last time you sat alone and realized nobody's coming to save you? Not your parents, not your friends, not some miracle opportunity, not that perfect time you keep waiting for. Nobody. You wake up, you grab your phone, you scroll, you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You tell yourself you just need one more week, one more month, one more push from someone else. But let me ask you something brutal. How many tomorrows have you already wasted? You're not tired. You're not unlucky. You're not cursed. You're comfortable. And comfort is killing you slowly. You sit there telling yourself you're planning. You say you're figuring things out. You convince yourself you just need more motivation. No. You need a wake-up call. Because while you're waiting for inspiration, life is moving without you. People are building. People are grinding. People who are less talented than you are passing you because they decided to move while you decided to scroll. You know that feeling at night? That quiet moment when the room is dark and the noise stops? That's when it hits you. You could be more. You should be more. But instead, you're stuck in the same loop. Wake up, phone, work you hate, complaining, Netflix, scroll, sleep. Repeat. And you call that living? You tell yourself you're young. You tell yourself you have time. You tell yourself it's okay to chill right now. But time doesn't care about your excuses. Time is ruthless. Every day you don't move is a day you don't get back. Every hour you waste is a brick added to the wall that traps you in mediocrity. And here's the hardest truth. Nobody feels sorry for you. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. It rewards people who get up and move even when they feel like hell. You think someone is going to notice your struggle and rescue you? Wake the hell up. No one is coming. Your dream job? It's not knocking on your door. Your dream body? It's not building itself while you binge eat and scroll at 2 a.m. Your confidence? It's not magically appearing while you avoid every uncomfortable situation. You're waiting for a hero. But the hero is supposed to be you. And right now, you're playing the victim. You say you want change, but you protect your comfort zone like it's sacred. You defend your laziness with logic. You justify procrastination with, "I'm just not ready yet." Ready for what? Ready to feel confident? Ready to feel fearless? Ready to feel motivated? That's not how it works. You move first, the feelings follow. You don't wait until you're confident to take action. You take action, and confidence is built through the scars. You don't wait until fear disappears. You move while your hands are shaking. That's how strong people are made. But you've been trained to stay soft. Endless entertainment, instant dopamine, notifications every 5 seconds. Your brain is addicted to comfort, and you wonder why discipline feels so hard. You've conditioned yourself to avoid pain at all costs. But growth lives in pain. Growth lives in awkwardness, in rejection, in failure, in waking up early when you don't feel like it, in going to the gym when it's raining, in working on your goals when nobody claps for you. Right now, you're addicted to applause without effort. You want results without sacrifice. And life doesn't work that way. Look at your habits. That's your future. Look at your routine. That's your destiny. Not your dreams, not your intentions, your habits. And if you're honest with yourself, are your habits building a champion or a spectator? You feel stuck because deep down you know you're capable of more. That frustration, that's not depression.
That's potential screaming at you. It's your inner voice saying, "Stop wasting your damn life." You feel anxious because you're not moving. You feel insecure because you're not trying. You feel behind because you keep delaying the work. And the longer you wait, the heavier it feels. But here's the shift. The moment you accept that nobody's coming, that's the moment you become dangerous. Because when you stop expecting rescue, you start taking responsibility. And responsibility is power. The second you say, "It's on me," everything changes. No more blaming your past, no more blaming your circumstances, no more blaming other people's success. It's on you. That's terrifying, but it's also freeing.
You felt that, didn't you? That uncomfortable silence after the truth hits. Because once you accept that nobody is coming, there's nowhere left to hide. No fantasy, no rescue story, no dramatic turnaround where someone pulls you out of your mess. It's just you. And that scares the hell out of you. Because if it's just you, then every result in your life is connected to your decisions. Look at your bank account. Look at your body. Look at your mindset. Look at the way you spend your time. That's not bad luck. That's a pattern. And patterns are built through daily choices so small you barely notice them. You don't wake up one day broke. You don't wake up one day out of shape. You don't wake up one day full of regret. It happens slowly. One skipped workout, 1 hour of scrolling, one "I'll start Monday," one "I'm too tired." Repeat that for 5 years. Now you're stuck. And here's the brutal part. You did it to yourself. Not because you're stupid, not because you're weak, but because you chose comfort over growth again and again. You chose easy. You chose distraction. You chose temporary pleasure over long-term power. And modern life makes that choice stupidly easy. Your phone is a dopamine machine. Every swipe gives you a hit. Every notification makes you feel important. Every short video trains your brain to crave fast reward. Meanwhile, the things that actually change your life, they're slow, they're boring, they're repetitive. Discipline isn't exciting. Consistency isn't sexy. Building something meaningful is lonely. So you escape. You tell yourself you're researching. You tell yourself you're networking. You tell yourself you're learning. But deep down, you know. You're avoiding the work. And every time you avoid it, your self-respect drops a little. That's the part nobody talks about. When you break promises to yourself, you don't just lose progress, you lose trust. You say you'll wake up early. You don't. You say you'll start the project. You don't. You say you'll stop wasting time. You don't. After a while, your brain stops believing you. And when you don't trust yourself, confidence disappears. That's why you hesitate. That's why you overthink. That's why you doubt. Because somewhere inside, you know you haven't been showing up. Confidence isn't built by hype. It's built by proof. Proof that you can rely on yourself. Right now, you're trying to feel strong without doing strong things. You want to feel disciplined without practicing discipline. You want to feel proud without earning it. It doesn't work like that. You earn self-respect, and you earn it in the dark. No applause, no validation, no one watching. Just you deciding that you're done being average. But here's where most people quit. The first week of change feels powerful. You're motivated, you're fired up. You say, "This is it. This is my turning point." Then the excitement fades. You wake up tired. Work stresses you out. Old habits whisper your name. Just skip today. Just relax. You deserve a break. And you listen. Because discipline feels heavy at first. It's like using muscles you've never trained. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. It exposes how weak you've allowed yourself to become. And instead of pushing through that discomfort,
You retreat back to what's familiar. Comfort. But comfort has a price. It costs you your future. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you vote for the weaker version of yourself. Every time you avoid a hard conversation, you vote for fear. Every time you delay your dream, you vote for regret. And those votes add up. You don't become strong in a single moment. You don't become weak in a single moment either. It's the accumulation. That's why nobody is coming to save you, because this isn't a single dramatic crisis. It's 1,000 small decisions stacked over time. And only you control those. You want your life to change? Then your standards have to change. The standard for how you treat your body, the standard for how you use your time, the standard for who you allow around you, the standard for what you tolerate from yourself. Right now, your standards are too low. You tolerate laziness. You tolerate distraction. You tolerate mediocrity. And as long as you tolerate it, it stays. You say you want a better life, but you're not willing to feel worse temporarily to build it. That's the trade. Short-term discomfort for long-term freedom, or short-term comfort for long-term regret. Pick one, because you're picking every single day, whether you realize it or not. Nobody is coming to push you. Nobody is coming to drag you out of bed. Nobody is forcing you to chase your potential. And that's not tragic. That's powerful. Because the moment you stop waiting, the moment you stop hoping someone else will light the fire, you realize something. The fire was always yours to light.
The fire was always yours to light. But let's be honest, you've been scared of that fire. Because if you light it, you can't pretend anymore. If you light it, you can't say, "I didn't try." If you light it, you can't hide behind excuses. If you light it, you might fail. And failure terrifies you. Not because it hurts, but because it exposes you. It exposes how unprepared you are, how inconsistent you've been, how much time you've wasted. So instead of risking failure, you stay in neutral. You scroll, you consume, you watch other people live. You analyze their success, you criticize their methods, you compare your beginning to their middle, and then you say, "I could do that." But you don't. Because saying it feels safer than proving it. You don't lack talent, you lack execution. You don't lack ideas, you lack courage. You don't lack opportunity, you lack discipline. That's the truth. And you feel it every time you see someone your age doing better than you. It hits you in the chest, that mix of jealousy and shame. You tell yourself they're lucky. You tell yourself they had connections. You tell yourself they had advantages. Maybe they did, but they also did something you didn't. They started. They started messy. They started scared. They started before they felt ready. And while you were thinking about it, they were building it. That's the gap. Not intelligence, not genetics, action. You overthink because thinking gives you the illusion of progress. You plan, you research, you watch motivational videos, you wait for the perfect strategy. Meanwhile, someone else is making mistakes and learning in real time. You're trying to avoid embarrassment, but embarrassment is tuition. You're trying to avoid looking stupid, but looking stupid is part of growth. Every strong person you admire, they were weak once. Every confident person, they were insecure once. Every disciplined person, they were inconsistent once. The difference? They stopped negotiating with themselves. That's what you do every day. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. I'm not in the mood. Mood? Since when did your future depend on your mood? You act like discipline is supposed to feel good. It doesn't. It feels heavy. It feels inconvenient. It feels unfair sometimes. But you know what feels worse? Regret. Regret at 30. Regret at 40. Regret when you realized you had the energy, the time, the opportunity, and you wasted it chasing comfort. You're not tired because life is hard. You're tired because you're living out of alignment. You know what you should be doing, and you're not doing it. That tension drains you. That gap between who you are and who you could be, that's where anxiety lives.
You feel stuck because you keep betraying your own potential, and deep down, you know it. You know you're capable of more. You know you're playing small. You know you're hiding, but you don't want to admit it, because admitting it means change is required, and change means sacrifice. Sacrificing late nights scrolling, sacrificing friends who mock your ambition, sacrificing comfort, sacrificing the old version of you. Growth is not addition, it's subtraction. You have to remove the habits that keep you weak, remove the excuses, remove the distractions, remove the identity of, I'm just not that kind of person. You are whatever you repeatedly do. Right now, you've repeated weakness, but that doesn't mean you're doomed. It means you've practiced the wrong pattern, and patterns can be broken. But only when you decide that your future is more important than your feelings. That's the turning point. Not when you feel inspired, not when everything aligns, not when someone believes in you. When you decide. A cold, quiet decision. No announcement, no dramatic post about new me, no telling everyone your big plan. Just action. Small, daily, uncomfortable action. That's how you take control. Not by waiting for rescue, not by wishing for confidence, but by proving to yourself, one hard choice at a time, that you're done being average. And once you taste that shift, once you realize you can move even when you don't feel like it, you stop feeling helpless. You start feeling dangerous.
And once it becomes real, you start seeing your old life differently. You look at the way you used to spend your nights. Endless scrolling, random videos, fake productivity, and it feels hollow. You look at the way you used to complain about being stuck, and it almost makes you cringe. Because now you see it clearly. You weren't stuck. You were undisciplined. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's easier to blame the economy, easier to blame your boss, easier to blame your childhood. But at some point, those reasons stop being explanations and start being cages. You can't control where you started, but you damn sure control what you do next. And that realization hits like a punch. Because now there's no one left to blame. It's just you and your standards. You begin to notice something subtle but powerful. When you keep promises to yourself, small ones, your posture changes. You walk differently. You talk differently. There's less hesitation in your voice. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. That's the transformation nobody sees. It's internal. It's the shift from, I hope this works, to, I'll figure it out. From, what if I fail, to, so what if I do? Failure stops being a threat. It becomes feedback. You stop taking rejection personally. You stop collapsing when things don't go your way. You stop dramatizing every setback. Because you understand something now. Pain is part of the process. Before, pain meant stop. Now, pain means grow. Before, discomfort meant you were doing something wrong. Now, discomfort means you're stretching. That's maturity. That's mental toughness. And here's where it gets deeper. As you grow, people around you will feel it. Some will respect it. Some will resent it. Because your discipline exposes their excuses. When you stop wasting your life, it becomes harder for them to justify wasting theirs. And not everyone will like that. You'll outgrow conversations. You'll outgrow environments. You might even outgrow friendships. That's the cost. Growth is lonely at first. You spend more time alone, more time focused, more time saying no. And at first, it feels isolating. But then something shifts. You realize you're not lonely, you're aligned. Aligned with your goals, aligned with your standards, aligned with the version of yourself you were always meant to become. And that alignment brings a different kind of peace. Not the lazy comfort you used to chase. A sharp,
grounded calm. You don't need constant entertainment anymore. You don't need constant validation. You don't need people clapping for you, because you know what you're building, and you know it's real. You start to trust yourself. That's everything. When you trust yourself, you take bigger risks. You aim higher. You speak up. You try things that used to scare you, not because fear disappeared, but because you're no longer controlled by it. Fear becomes background noise. Action becomes default. That's power. And it didn't come from someone saving you. It came from you deciding you were done being soft. Done waiting. Done wishing. Done wasting time. You stopped looking for a sign. You became the sign. And now, when you look back at the version of you who was waiting for rescue, you feel something strange. Not shame, gratitude. Because that frustration, that anger at yourself, was the spark. It was the moment you realized nobody was coming. And instead of collapsing, you stood up. Not dramatically, not loudly, just firmly. And that quiet decision changed everything.
And here's the part nobody warns you about. Once you stand up, once you really accept that nobody is coming, you can't unsee it. You start noticing how many people are still waiting. Waiting for motivation, waiting for perfect timing, waiting for someone to believe in them. You used to be one of them. You used to think success was about talent, about luck, about connections. Now you know better. It's about ownership. Radical ownership. It's about looking at your life, the mess, the flaws, the wasted time, and saying, it's mine. Not your parents', not your partner's, not society's. Yours. That's heavy. But that weight is what builds strength. Because when everything is on you, everything is possible. You stop saying, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what am I going to do about it? That question changes your entire identity. Victims ask why. Leaders ask how. How do I improve? How do I adapt? How do I get stronger? You don't sit around analyzing your feelings anymore. You move. And here's the crazy part. The more you move, the less you overthink. Because action silences doubt. You used to lie in bed at night, anxious, mind racing, thinking about all the things you weren't doing. Now you're tired for a different reason. You worked, you trained, you built, you executed. That exhaustion feels different. It feels earned. And when you lay your head down now, there's less regret, less noise. Because even if you're not where you want to be yet, you're no longer stagnant. You're in motion. And motion creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates expansion. That's the cycle you build when you stop wasting your life. Let's be brutally honest one last time. You were never stuck. You were scared. Scared to fail, scared to look stupid, scared to leave your comfort zone. So you played small. You hid behind distractions. You told yourself stories about why now wasn't the right time. But there is no right time. There is only now. And now doesn't wait. Every day you delay is a silent decision, a decision to stay the same. But the moment you truly accept that nobody is coming to save you, something flips. You stop hoping for change. You become it. You stop waiting for confidence. You build it. You stop wishing for strength. You earn it. You realize that the life you want isn't blocked by circumstances. It's blocked by hesitation. And hesitation disappears when responsibility becomes non-negotiable. This is the realization that changes everything. No one is coming. And that's not depressing. It's empowering. Because if no one is coming, then no one is stopping you either. The cage was never locked. You just never tried the door. So wake up. Wake the hell up. Stop wasting your life scrolling through someone else's highlights while yours stays unwritten. Stop waiting for permission to be great. Stop negotiating with your potential. You don't need saving. You need discipline. You need standards. You need to decide that your future is worth discomfort. The world will not hand you strength. You build it. Brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. And one day you'll look in the mirror and see someone unrecognizable. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped being weak. That's the turning point. The moment you stop waiting to be rescued and start becoming the one who rescues himself.
You start feeling dangerous. Not loud, not arrogant, not posting quotes every 5 minutes. Dangerous in silence. Because now you understand something most people never do. Control is built in private. While everyone else is chasing validation, you're building discipline. While they're arguing online, you're training your mind. While they're complaining about their lives, you're fixing yours. And it's not glamorous. It's waking up when the alarm hits and your body begs for 5 more minutes, and getting up anyway. It's doing the workout when nobody sees it. It's studying when your friends are out. It's building that project when you're exhausted from work. That's where the shift happens. Not in hype, in repetition. The old you needed motivation. The new you moves without it. That's the difference. Because motivation is emotion, and emotion is unstable. One bad day and it's gone. But discipline? Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It says, do it anyway. And the first time you override your excuses, something changes inside you. You realize you're not as weak as you thought. You were just untrained. You let your impulses run your life. Cravings, comfort, fear, approval. You reacted to everything. Now you respond. That's power. Power isn't screaming at the world, it's controlling yourself. Most people can't even control their screen time. Think about that. You say you want control over your future, but you can't control your thumb from refreshing an app. That's not a small issue, that's a symptom. You've trained your brain to seek easy reward, and when real work shows up, the slow, boring, uncomfortable kind, your brain resists. So you quit early. You start strong and fade fast. That cycle has defined your life. Excited, inspired, committed, then tired, distracted, back to normal. And every time that happens, your belief in yourself shrinks. You start thinking, maybe I'm just not built for this. That's a lie. You're not incapable. You're inconsistent. And inconsistency kills confidence. But here's what most people never realize. You don't fix inconsistency with bigger goals. You fix it with stricter standards. You raise the minimum. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And you start asking, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? That question changes everything. Because now it's not about mood, it's about identity. Are you becoming someone disciplined or someone reactive? Are you becoming someone strong or someone comfortable? Every action is casting a vote. Right now, most of your votes are weak. But the moment you become aware of it, you can shift. And that shift won't feel dramatic. It'll feel boring. You'll wake up, you'll do what needs to be done, you'll keep your word. Again and again and again. No applause, just progress. And here's the crazy part. The more you keep your word to yourself, the quieter your mind becomes. That anxiety, it fades. That doubt, it weakens. Because now you have proof. Proof that you show up. Proof that you don't fold under pressure.
proof that you move even when it's uncomfortable. That's how mental strength is built. Not through affirmations, through evidence. You're not trying to become someone else. You're stripping away the weak habits that buried the strong version of you. And once you experience that, once you feel what it's like to control your impulses instead of being controlled by them, you can't go back. Comfort starts to feel suffocating. Scrolling feels empty. Excuses sound pathetic. Because now you've seen what's possible when you stop waiting to be saved. You're not looking for rescue anymore. You're building armor. And every hard choice you make adds another layer. Layer of discipline, layer of self-respect, layer of strength. It's slow, but it's real. And real beats hype. Every time.